So if you've watched through your safety guidelines and your intensity guidelines now, you should be ready to start. I know I'm ready, so if you are, I think we should go inside, don't you? Pelvic floor exercises are the most important exercises to do during your pregnancy, and I would say to you, if you're going to do one exercise, then these are the ones to really focus on. The pelvic floor is so important, not just to help support you in your pelvis, but also because they're integral to the whole action of giving birth. When you give birth, your abdominal muscles contract, your pelvic floor has to relax. But also during your pregnancy, throughout the whole of your pregnancy, the weight of the baby will put pressure on your pelvic floor, and your pelvic floor muscles therefore become weakened by the weight of the baby. So we need to constantly contract those muscles to keep them nice and strong and to stop us from having problems with the pelvic floor, such as incontinence problems afterwards. And very important, that whole supportive side of the pelvis being supported is really important too. So where is the pelvic floor? Well, it lies underneath our pelvis, and if you think of the pubic bone at the front and your tailbone, your coccyx at the back, the pelvic floor literally lies like a hammock between these 2 points. So if you think of my hand now as the pelvic floor muscle, pubic bone at the front, tailbone at the back, to activate the pelvic floor, you're literally drawing those 2 points together, or thinking about drawing those 2 points together. Obviously the bone isn't actually going to move, but the action of focusing and drawing in together and then lifting up inside you is how you work the pelvic floor. Often we describe it as stopping yourself going for a wee or for a poo. That helps to activate the muscles. But what I want you to really focus on is the centre bit, the bit that us ladies only have, pulling up through the centre, because often this is the area that's going to get most weakened through childbirth. So we want to try and draw up inside through the centre, pulling that pelvic floor up inside us. The feeling you get is a little bit like when you have a period pain. You feel it right down low in your abdomen. You will also feel your tummy coming in at the same time. That's fine. These muscles work on the same nerve response. That's a natural feeling to have as well. What you don't want is your backside muscles contracting. So if you can sit on a ball like I am now, it's really useful to be able to sit forwards, and that stops your bum muscles from contracting. You can sit on a chair as well, but a ball is just a little bit more comfortable to do this on. So our first exercise is one where I just want you to think of pulling those 2 points together. So pubic bone at the front, tailbone at the back. Think of those 2 points like a clothes peg being drawn together, and then pull up inside you as if you're stopping yourself going to the toilet, but thinking more of that centre area, and then slowly letting it relax. And again, pull up inside, drawing up inside, and then slowly letting it relax. And again, drawing together, pulling up inside, and slowly letting it relax. Now I want you to continue doing that for me. You need to be able to do at least 10 of these movements every single day. In fact, you could do them 3 times, 4 times a day, 10 at a time. It really is important to keep working that pelvic floor, and the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, is very true. So I hope you're still doing them right now. One more for me. Fantastic. And that's great. Now the next exercise I want you to have a go at is one that we call the pelvic floor lift. So I want you to think about your pelvic floor as a lift going up 5 floors. So if you just relax your pelvic floor, then that's going to be ground floor, 0. You then want to pull up to 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's as high as you can go. You'll feel your tummy pulling in a lot as well, and then slowly let it release and come down. And again, pull up 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th is as high as you can go, and then slowly let it release and come down. The trick is to not squeeze your eyes at the same time whilst you're doing it. That's it. Lift up, and then slowly let it come down. Now come up again for me. Come up 1st, 2nd, and hold at 2nd floor. Holding at 2nd floor is really important because you can probably sustain that as a contraction for a much longer time period. So you may have lost that feeling, so just flick it back up again to 2nd floor. Try and remind yourself of that feeling. Now the reason this 2nd floor is so important in Pilates, you'll hear it called as 20% hollowing, or drawing up, 20% drawing up through the pelvic floor. It's really important because it's sustainable. So when you're walking around, when you're doing daily chores, when you want to lift and carry something, if you can just pull up to second floor, you know you are supporting your pelvis, supporting your baby, and going to stop yourself from getting any back problems and any back pain by just being conscious and pulling up of those core muscles, that pelvic floor muscle. So again, let's come up to second floor, come up first, second, hold it at second, try and sustain it, and then again come up third, fourth, fifth, and then slowly let it release and come down. So I want you to do that a couple more times, coming up through the floors, and again, you should be able to do 10 of these movements. Slowly let it come down, and one more. And remember that releasing action is really important as well. Releasing and letting the pelvic floor come down. Do one more for me. Come up through the floors. When you release the pelvic floor, it's important to be able to let it completely relax, because this is the action that will happen to you in childbirth. The abdominal muscles contract and the pelvic floor lets go. So it's important to be conscious of that feeling as well. Now, the last exercise we're going to do is a quick firing exercise for the pelvic floor. Now, this is really important because it works the quick firing action of the muscle. It's that quick response that you need, and this is the part of the muscle that gets very weakened after childbirth and is why we often get incontinence problems. You know, we wet ourselves basically because we can't hold the pelvic floor. So you need to have that quick firing action. It's like flicking it on like a switch, like my fingers clicking, literally pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, and keep trying to pull it up. That's it, keep trying to pull it up. It's the same action you use if you're having sex. It's the same feeling of literally lifting the pelvic floor up. This is a great one to do if you're at a really boring dinner party and you're a bit bored, you know, just do your pelvic floor exercises and you have a lot more fun. That's it, keep flicking it up. Keep flicking up, and again, magic number's 10. Should be able to do at least 10 of these. If this is your first baby, you'll find that quite easy to do. If it's your second or your third or more, you're going to find it harder, so keep practicing. So, well done.